But we have to start tonight with the obvious. The Eagles have the ball 4th and 7 at the end of the first half. 7 seconds left, and they call a quarterback draw? Just kidding. Let's talk about Saquon, Vinny. Hit us with it.
Saquon! MVP, man. I mean, he is every week. What is like in the last 2 games? He got over what
500 yards, 4 touchdowns.
Saquon Barkley in this game, 26 carries for 255 yards, 302 yards from scrimmage, the most rushing yards in a game for any Eagle ever, the most yards from scrimmage in a game for any Eagle ever, 2 carries of 70-plus yards for a touchdown. The guy has been unbelievable, and as you were chanting when we were doing the watch-along, and we could hear you in the other room, Vinny, MVP, MVP.
MVP, bro.
He's insane every week.
Creative player.
I mean, Adrian Peterson was the last guy 12 years ago to take home an MVP award as a running back. And I remember AP just being insane. Saquon feels better. Like, this guy, I read the numbers to Fran right before we came in here. He's had 3 games within 13 yards of 200 yards per game. And then today, like, he's making 200-yard games from scrimmage.
Seems normal.
Yeah. We can't normalize this.
He had more yards from scrimmage than the Rams in the game, 290 yards from scrimmage.
The Giants had 234 yards passing and rushing today. I need a live stream of John Mara and Joe Shane in absolute hell right now. I would pay top dollar to watch that.
Yeah, I mean, Joe Shane, don't pick up the phone, my friend. No. Not at all. On the season, Saquon Barkley has 1,392 yards rushing. That is already his career high.
all of the stats that are going to come out about him in the next 24 hours, every single one is going to top the next.
Carries of 50-plus yards this season. He is, he has 6.2 yards per carry on the season for any running back this century with at least 200 carries. That's the second best yards per carry ever. The guy, I mean, there are hundreds of stats you could use, but it's like suffice to say that this game is tight coming out of the half. Right? It's 13-7. The Eagles did have that very weird situation at the end of the first half, and it takes one handoff. The first play of the second half, Saquon goes 70 yards for a touchdown, and all of a sudden everybody exhales, and all those Eagles fans who were in attendance because it was a super heavy Eagles show out at SoFi Stadium, everybody can all of a sudden exhale because like that is the pressure release that Saquon has been for this offense all season long.
Did you say he was averaging 6.2 a carry?
Yes.
Adrian Peterson in his MVP season averaged 6 yards a carry.
Yes. There's only one. There's a Jamal Charles season when he was 6.4. But Saquon has been unbelievable.
You mentioned the 2 touchdown runs of 70-plus. The first player in NFL history to do that in a half.
Okay.
We did the second half. I mean, like, just what he has been. I wrote this week about how he's been potentially the best closer in the NFL. Jamie, we were talking about his second half stats.
Insane.
What he's done in the second half of games for this offense and being able to close out games, seal victories. I mean, he's obviously their most valuable player, and you would make the argument the most valuable in the league.
Yeah, I mean, if you go into a half with the lead, it's game over. That's simple.
The guy is unbelievable. He is not only winning games for the Eagles and taking names from opponents and then putting those guys in the dust. He's taking your voice away again.
Oh man, I'm too hyped. Hey, listen, but let's be honest. We haven't.
Have you ever seen anything like this?
Said, we haven't seen this much excitement coming out the backfield in a long time.
It's almost hard to believe what we're watching.
And it's so crazy because it's not. I mean, listen. The 70-yard touchdowns, the 50-yard touchdowns are insane, and they are like it's crazy that he is a big play himself waiting to happen. But it is also like even the normal carries that should go for 2 yards, he's turning into 8 yards,
Yep.
or like the way that he will just turn the corner up the sideline and just steal an extra 4 yards, or like drop his shoulder into a defender. And we will have to have the conversation about how what his workload is. It's a lot of touches. He had 30 touches in this game. But he doesn't look any worse for wear right now. Like that, he has a 70-whatever yard touchdown at the very end of the game, and it looks like the first carry of the game to him.
Yeah, man. I think coming into the game, he had 199 carries,
Something like that. Yeah.
Right.
You know, so damn, still, bro, he cold, bro.
What does that do to a defense?
They punch in the air. Because if you can't stop the run in the way he is, like, he's lowering you, then he bust one, and then he bust another one. He just take the soul out of you. It was crazy, man.
And that's the thing is when you run the ball like the Eagles do, and you play defense the way that the Eagles do, it's very tough to go into a matchup against this team and feel confident because the offense and the rushing game feels inevitable. At some point, he's going to break one of those long runs. You know that you've got Jalen, you've got AJ, the healthy Devontae. The pass game, you're going to get some explosives there. So you've got to come into a game against the Eagles thinking you're going to score 28, 30 points. And against this defense, that just has not been able to happen against Vic Fangio's unit.
And then if you stack the box, somebody's going to...
AJ Brown's out there.
The first person not going to tackle him. This is not happening.
Yeah.
Yep.
And in this game, without Devontae Smith, the Eagles are able to put up 37 points because of Saquon. I mean, as a passing offense, Jalen Hurts throws for 179 yards, 15 of 22, and a touchdown. A.J. Brown, 6 for 109 and a touchdown. And it's like A.J. Brown can go over 100 yards and can be arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL this season and is probably the second most exciting player on the offense. It's insane.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that you have AJ who, ho-hum had 100 yards receiving tonight. But I think when you've got that rushing attack to be able to come in and just to dominate and assert your will with Saquon Barkley, it's an X factor for this team going into the postseason.
And you can tell like how much fun he's having. Like you saw it tonight in his celebrations and his kind of like jukes and his like he was almost toying with the defense.
Yeah,
and I think he realizes that playing behind this offensive line is just like the greatest thing he's probably experienced on a football field. That dude is having a effing blast on the field right now.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it obviously in the offseason when they signed him. The theory of adding Saquon to this team where there are weapons to take away attention from the opposing defense. You've got Jalen Hurts in the backfield, so that's something for the run defense to have to account for. He played behind such bad offensive lines in New York. Now he gets to play behind the best offensive line of football. Last year, DeAndre Swift was getting what was blocked, but he wasn't breaking stuff at the second level. If he gets into the second level, what could Saquon do? And like all of those what if bull case scenarios, we're still underselling just how like offensive identity changing he has been for them.